Everybody, welcome to the Ron Line Report. This is a man that I haven't talked to in a while, but with the 2024 Olympia, the 60th anniversary Olympia just happened. I had to get his take on how everything went down. Please welcome, all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada, Milos the Mind Sarcev. How are you, Milos?
Good to see you, Ron. It was actually super strange not seeing you there because it's impossible not to see you. So you missed it for what reason?
Honestly, it wasn't in my budget because
Oh,
people have paid my ticket. Steve, MD paid my way there, covered the hotel, all my expenses. I could have done it this year, but it wouldn't have been smart. I'll be in a much better position next year. I guarantee you, I'll be there sitting close to you next year.
all right, there you go.
Back in the
Okay,
shadow.
so you want my take,
Yes.
It's not going to be biased coach take, right?
No, not at all.
Because
So
this is how everybody always look at me. Like they thought that I'm talking from a biased perspective. I'm just analyst, and I always try to call what I see it. So let me tell you like this: right away, my first impression
yeah,
was that Samson delivered it good enough condition that what we talked about before. That if he's just close in condition to Hadi and Derek, he can overcome and beat them because he has too many other attributes that they don't have.
yeah.
So. I think that this is exactly what he delivered already on Friday and slam dunk it on Saturday. Uh, he is by far, I think, the best bodybuilder in the world,
Yeah.
Mr. Olympia. That now, when I think back, I remember 2022 after the Arnold, I had a Fua Dabia asking me, "Do you think that Samson has in him potential to win the Olympia?"
Huh.
That was 2022.
Wow.
And I said, absolutely. You can see Mr. Olympia written all over him. So yeah, he delivered and got it. Now, some people would say, like Dave Palumbo, that Hadi was not good. I think that Hadi was very good, very, very good. Even on Friday, his trademark striated look from the front, super hard conditioned, was there,
Yeah.
for sure. Maybe legs not popping as much as normally, but still separated, striated, well, abs, intercostals, crazy. Chest, he never had a full chest, but he has super striated. He was conditioned.
Mm.
Now, the second he turned to the side, you could see now, probably for the first time, huge discrepancy that I it was not so visible before. That side poses, side relaxed, side chest, side triceps, with the legs not being thick and not really being threaded, separated, and hard and dry like his front. Okay,
Mm.
and chest being a little bit flattish, that he would lose to Samson by big margin. I mean, that was no indication of a dominance in size. Back in the day, when I said Samson is probably 70 pounds heavier than Hadi, and then Danny James was saying, but you can't see it on the stage. Uh,
True.
you can't see it from the front double biceps, front lat spread. Somehow, miraculously, Hadi creates the illusion of a size. You got to give it to him, right? Like here, for example.
Yeah.
Uh, but on the side shots, it was visible. Then they turned to the back. Samson dramatically improved his back. He
Yeah.
was criticized before for the back double biceps. Already last year was vastly improving, but lat spread this year was like holy moly. I mean,
Mm.
here it is. Uh, those back poses supposed to be dead exposes, and
Right.
he still maybe wins but now by small margin. Upper body here that if you're watching this at the same time, Hadi is very competitive in upper body, back double biceps, but not in the lower body. Unfortunately, this live stream now it's so dark you can't see and appreciate what Samson is bringing in this pose, as far as his balance and lower body. But
Yeah.
last spread from behind, I think Samson actually took it.
Hmm.
Side triceps right here, for sure Samson took it, and that was not the case before. Ab shot dramatically improved for Samson as well. I mean, I have to just say I'm so proud of what Samson did. Even this look at most muscular.
Yeah.
Before there was not as much detail. Now the size, thickness, fullness, round crazy chest with striations. Whoo!
Yeah. I knew you were going to be so happy for him. Some people would say, oh, Milos is probably salty because he's not his coach anymore. I said, no, I immediately said, no, you were his biggest fan. You still are a huge fan. And you know what phrase kept running through my head? I kept hearing your voice saying #bodybuilding
All
when
the
he
way.
was winning, because that's,
Well,
you've been saying for years now, it shouldn't be a glute contest. It shouldn't be just condition. That's one aspect of an entire physique package. And Samson just had the best combination of all the attributes we're supposed to be looking for.
Ron, how many Instagram messages do you think I got as like, salty coach and jealous or this and that? And I must be like hanging myself now that Samson, look, and I said that many times, people see the world the way they are. So if this actually crossed their mind that I would be salty or jealous or not happy, just because they are that type of person, I cannot be happier. We were building this for many years, and there's nothing better than machine accomplishing the goal. And I'm super happy for Marlena and Samson. They would say like there's maybe some competitiveness between me and Marlena. Now she's a better coach because she brought him in a better condition. Look, what I was saying before, that has nothing to do with Marlena as a person. It's just like somebody that doesn't have that much experience that she couldn't have. She had experience with one man, and she helped him get in the best condition. And I am super pleased seeing what he looked like. I mean, these kind of moments, I was right there. Okay, I think that William little overdid it here.
Yes.
Look, like Badal did it for 2006 Olympia when he jumped on Jay, but this was like over the top. I would not do the same thing, but I felt it. Really, congratulations to Samson and Marlena. They set the new standard. This was beautiful to see him and Hadi. See, Hadi and the whole country of Iran, they're so competitive, and they would want him to win. And Hadi was always winning on combination of, he has a very strong poses and looks good enough in everything, and then he has an unmatched condition.
Yeah.
Hadi's condition. So he would give enough reasons for judges to beat whoever else. But we are talking about bodybuilding phenomenon. This is, look at the structure, look at the shape, the freak with the elegance, muscle with the muscular beauty, classic beauty. Look at every moment of every pose and transition. He's doing marvelously. This is like symphony. It's art. Everything is for a reason. Everything that he does. So yeah, I could not be happier. Even though still my Iranian friends, I know that Iranians love me and respect me, and they would respect me for telling the truth.
Yes.
Before, I would maybe be biased coach if I was calling for a Samson. Now they know that I don't have a horse in this race. I'm just calling it. Here, front of biceps, I would still give it to Hadi. I mean, I would still give it to Hadi, on the hardness and the weight, say, even front lat spread, I would still maybe go with Hadi. I love Samson, and Samson could win these poses, and probably he won those poses on some judges' scorecards. But I'm playing a devil's advocate. Hadi is very good in these poses. Here is where dominance of Samson, starts. Side, then back double biceps up and down. Hadi's hamstring was down, and upper body, he has a thickly muscled back and everything. But Samson is now tapered and detailed, and look at now when he opens up the lats.
So wide.
Yeah, it's going all over, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, you worked 3 years with Samson? Is that how long it was?
Yeah. I'm a little bit short of 3 years.
Yeah.
Because we started in 2021. But I am impressed with the changes that he accomplished in posing, presentation, and the quality of physique, which I'm not surprised. He's improving. He needed to improve the delts. Delts were the first to improve dramatically. Before, he was kind of narrowish. Now look at that, capped, wide.
Yeah.
And then lats were second thing that need to come up, and they come up. He still has a room for improvement.
Sure.
His
Everybody.
waist is small. Abs are now in perfect control, which we didn't have before. I did mention that I was not allowed to keep saying abs, abs, abs because he didn't like it.
Yeah.
But finally, maybe he realized, and whatever changes he made. Look at control of the abs now, and look at side chest pose with the abs perfectly, and then side triceps with the perfect abs.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing to see how far he's come, because I can remember just 3 years ago, if you told me Samson Dauda is going to win the Olympia, I said you're high, you're on drugs. And if it was you, I would have said you're very biased because you're his coach. That's the only, there's no way this guy's going to be Olympia. He's too tall. He's got to fill out, and he put something like 30 pounds of muscle on in the time that you worked with him. Is that right?
Yes, I mean, for me, this is now dominance starting. I can't see him lose. He would have to be off or something's happening that somebody can beat this.
Okay.
Yes, Hadi would always be challenge. Hadi's going to come crazy, but I was thinking that Hadi would come with a tighter hamstring and glutes this year, because last year that's the only area that he lost, I think, from Derek.
Yeah.
But okay, look at this condition. It's still stellar condition.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. I mean, you talk about Samson starting an era of dominance, but obviously a lot of people are still massively rooting for Hadi Choopan to get his title back. I mean, nothing's impossible. We've seen people win the Olympia. We never thought we were going to win the Olympia. You and I both. I don't think it's impossible that he gets his title back, but what does he need to do? Assuming Samson never comes in off, what does Hadi need to do?
Yeah. So Hadi never comes off, and Hadi's off is still better than most of the people's on. But now we used to seeing Hadi, formidable as he is. I think that he still doesn't have that crazy hamstring glutes, thinner skin and striations, and these vertical lines from the back, semimembranosis, tendinosis, biceps femoris, right? That Samson actually has. Samson has these crazy calves too. So I think it's going to be, I said that in Jay's podcast, it's going to be Ronnie Jay rivalry. It's going to be Hadi and Samson, and who delivers, who doesn't. This is still phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Mr. Olympia presentation, physique, and potential. They were 8-8. They would tie at the prejudging.
Really?
Okay? They would tie 8-8. I don't know at the finals was 6-9. Again, not crystal clear victory. There's still judges. Some judges would give it to Hadi. So when IBB professional judges qualified, knowing what they're doing, even giving right now Hadi over Samson, some of them did. This is how good Hadi is. But at this highest level, somebody has to win and somebody has to be second.
Yeah. I mean, how close did you see it? Did you see it one way Friday and another way Saturday, or did you always see Samson winning this?
Yeah, I said on a wrap up for RX Muscle, I saw Samson winning already after prejudging, but that was close. That was very close with Hadi second. They were talking about Derek winning. I said no. I didn't see Derek on this level, and I'm sorry. From the front, he could not challenge Hadi in any of the poses, and from the side he couldn't challenge Samson on any of the poses. And then on the back, his back double biceps was still convincing, winning, but not lights out, night and day difference. They're closing in into that one. I still think that Derek's back double biceps is probably among the best of all time.
Agreed.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah. Let me ask you this. Do you think there's something going on with his legs? Because they look so big and full, even a month ago in the pictures, the videos and the photos, and something happened. They lost a lot of their pop, a lot of the sweep, and one leg seems to be a little smaller. His right quad seems to be a little smaller to me than his left quad now.
which means it has to be some kind of injury, right?
Mm,
My right leg is considerably bigger than left now because of the injury, but
yeah.
uh, Hadi Chapman has a right leg smaller. He evened out pretty much, but it's still visible if you really pay attention. Jay Cutler had it,
Yeah.
so probably. But on that note, I don't have an answer. How can legs be dramatically bigger? Like Pittsburgh guest posing, holy moly, he was like
They're massive.
massive, and then it was always big, big, big in all the pictures that you see, the updates. And then it said that even like 2022, close to the contest, this last prep, last cardio, and last depletion, and all that stuff, usually a weakness and freshly made muscle is first one to go down. And I didn't want to take it seriously, but then it happened each and every year. I think in 2023 his legs were bigger than now,
Mm.
and you know, still front double. It's spectacular as far as shape, silhouette, but kind of elongated waist when there is not much X frame and not much volume going into the legs. Smaller legs, now the elongated and dominant upper body creates this balance, which was kind of visible. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
it,
what
it's
is the thing that Hani's the greatest Olympia level coach. He's got, if you go by, if you're talking about Olympia wins and all that, he's unparalleled. So I don't know what went wrong. I'm sure you don't know what went wrong either. But I was looking at all his updates, and he looked so on track. I had him in all my predictions, repeating the win without
yeah.
a doubt. It wasn't
I
even.
I didn't really see those updates. I was way too busy to, and I'm not just saying this.
Yeah.
Uh, I would always look if I have a chance, but I didn't see it. You saw it. Some other people, Dennis and Chris Cormier see him winning. Jay saw him winning. So I guess you guys saw something like
Yeah.
improved version of Derek, and Derek is running Mr. Olympia. But I think even last year he shouldn't have won. Uh, so he should definitely enjoy what he has accomplished. Nobody else did. 212 and open title with a shorter structure and still being able to do it. But I just don't see him being competitive to Samson.
Yeah.
From now on.
Yeah. I wish him the best. I have his T-shirt on. If you noticed.
He gave it to me. He signed it for me too.
Yeah.
And this might sound bad. Nicest guy ever.
Yeah.
I just really don't see him as the best bodybuilder in the world.
Well, you don't. You're like me. We're not talking about the person. We're just talking about physiques. I love Derek. I love him, but I don't know if it's possible for him to get that title back if Samson's still improving. He's still making improvements.
Yeah, which is tricky. Which is tricky to think how far Samson can go. I just mentioned somewhere that with the improvements that he keeps continuing to make, already spectacular physique. If he makes it even a little bit better, he can become the best of all time.
Yeah, I mean, Lee Haney called him Excalibur. He doesn't say that about everybody. Believe me.
I know.
So this guy was Martin Fitzwater. To me, was the surprise of the Open Mr. Olympia. I didn't expect him to do that well. I'm a fan of his, but I think he might have even been able to get third. I know the score sheets didn't indicate he was that close to Derek, but I saw him and Derek as being very, very close.
I agree with you. If I was a judge, he would have been ahead of Derek. Yeah. And again, people would be pissed off. And now they would say, how can you put Derek so low because he won last year? Like, well, let's go muscle for muscle, balance, shape, thickness, each mandatory pose. I think that Martin showed more. He impressed hell of a many people. I mean, look at that. Most muscular is off the chart. These kind of poses.
Yeah, look at that.
He plays to his strength, and legs was spectacular. Side poses was stellar. But even saying that, I still wish that they put Andrew Jack into that mix. Andrew to compete with Martin and Derek. This is one of my regrets that we didn't see that. Look at that physique. And I also wanted to see comparison Samson and Andrew. I
Yeah,
think
I mean, so when they first came out, that big 7-man lineup, I'll go to that. This is what kind of puzzled me is he's way on the end here. I
yeah,
thought at some point they're going to move him closer to the middle, but they never did. He stayed right there all the way on the end.
yeah. Here he starts with a great frontal biceps pose. He beats Martin in the frontal biceps.
Hmm.
He beats Martin in a lat spread. Just look at it.
Yeah,
I mean, you know,
it's a hell of a physique. I do think he came in a little too heavy. I thought he looked better in Texas, even though I don't. You were probably in Texas. I wasn't there in person, but to me, he was in better condition in Texas.
the size of a Samson.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one I thought was really good. A lot of people were saying, and I didn't think it was crazy. The top two could be Samson and Andrew, or Andrew and Samson this year.
That's how I was actually thinking, and should I say hoping for a hashtag bodybuilding to be alive, and those two to represent what Olympia is all about. Hadi is Hadi. You got to respect it. And when he would come, as he was saying at the athletes meeting or press conference, dry as a desert, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I heard you saying to Haney,
oh yeah,
that dryness is kind of dangerous, and he agreed. Jake Wood talked about the same thing, that let's not go crazy on conditioning and super dryness and all that stuff. It's not really necessary, and it's potentially dangerous. And we kind of all agree on that. I was speaking to you about the same thing. When you say drier, so how do you get drier? We all know how we get drier, but dehydration itself is dangerous. Any method that you use, if you're dehydrated, you're putting yourself at risk. So I think that Samson condition right now was just enough.
Yeah.
But some people are going to say he would still need to dial in more.
Right. Well, I mean, Jake Wood is the owner. He doesn't have any. He doesn't pick the winners, nothing like that. But he said on a couple podcasts. I was on one with Tarek and Sean, and we were interviewing Jake, and he said, I'm paraphrasing, but he doesn't want to see that dry look. He doesn't want to see super shredded glutes all the time, because we do know you have to go down to the lowest body fat humanly possible, and B, most people will have to use diuretics, some dose, some type of diuretic to achieve that look. And we know diuretics are much more dangerous than steroids, especially in the short term. You can take steroids today. You're not going to die today, but unfortunately for you, you've been witness years ago to people dying from diuretics. So firsthand what can happen.
I had actually Bernd Beiderbecke, German promoter, here with me today. He had a coffee. He was with me in middle harness when Aziza died. He actually witnessed that in '92 European Grand Prix Tour. So when you see something like that and you see a few close calls, it makes you change your mind. I mean, there were a few bodybuilders that stopped competing. Steve Brisbois, for example, he was there. Yeah. And after that, and he was top 5 Arnold Classic, and he plays quite well at Olympia too. He stopped competing because he says that this is just not worth it. Now, Martin, we are watching him. That's perfectly peaked.
Yeah.
Full as a house. Also, so by some standards, somebody say, "Oh, he could be still tad drier," but why? Why would you? This is this healthy, beautiful look.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, all over the place.
Do you think Martin has possibly a Mr. Olympia future? I mean, if he almost beat Derek and Derek won the Olympia, why not? Why not? This guy could be Mr. Olympia in a year, 2, 3, 4 years. Who knows when? But what is he missing? He's not missing anything.
Because of Behrouz. I'm just kidding. I mean, of course, Martin has what it takes to be, winning, but he's going to have a Samson. And then, as I mentioned, Behrouz, I think I do have a huge hopes for Behrouz. I wish he was on the Olympia stage. I wish he was here. He would be standing right there and being compared to Martin right now. And again, right now I would sound as a biased coach because I'm his coach.
Well, I want to take a look. I mean, we're not able to show him next to these guys, but I'm going to pull him up in a second because I think it's heartbreaking. This was the third Olympia that he's qualified for that he hasn't been able to get to. Is that right?
He was in tears on. I mean, I can cry right now if I just think about
Sure. I mean,
it. They showed his empty chair with his name on it at Olympia. Somebody put it on Instagram, and he was crying like all weekend. Shit,
I mean, yeah, because he knows he should be on that stage.
Yeah,
he's earned his way
3 times, man, not once, not 2 times.
Hasn't he? Did he win? Did he win 2 different shows this year? Didn't he win twice this year?
He should have won all 3 shows. Yeah, but he got second in first show, but he won last 2. And let me tell you, he is super dangerous. He has everything. He showed me the legs are improving dramatically because I had a chance to train him in Dubai, and I point out something on a quad activation that he, as you see his glutes, you know that very well. When he was training legs, he was pushing mostly from the glutes, and we switched now that he can push from the quads, and they're growing. And that small waist, that V taper, thick back, beautiful shape. Everything.
There we go, right there. Look at that. Wow.
Look at that. I mean,
that was Dubai. The Dubai show.
And here he was not even as conditioned as he can normally be.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, no, serious.
How do you get more conditioned than what I'm looking at right now?
I'll send you some of the other shots. But that's what I'm talking about. You see, you Unknown and Giles, if you guys ask the question, how about competition? Conditioning. That's you too. Like you can sing a song together. Conditioning, right?
Location. Yeah.
Yeah, there are different aspects of conditioning, right? And then what you gain, what you lose, is this worth it? Yes. So you would want to be desert, Sahara dry, okay? Yeah. But you know what it takes to be Sahara dry,
right?
You see, so you guys kind of contradict when you say that. If I would say, yeah, it's super impressive. Bernd Beiderberg today was talking about death of Andreas Munzer, and Munzer died, right? Yeah. And we all know that he was super conditioned and super dry, and it was so impressive. But do you want to really look that freak show super dry? If you look super dry, you know that's unhealthy already. So I want you to achieve that, but I'm not going to have words of unhealthy look. We're going to call it that impressive dry look. Yeah. Oh, that's bone dry. How do you get bone dry? So please, let's start calling a spade, and even judges, right? They want you to go for condition, and they're going to award a condition, but it comes with a sacrifice that can be fatal.
Well, I mean, I'm glad. I think, you can't say that the standards have changed based on one show, even a show like the Olympia, the greatest show that we have in our sport, but it really gave me a good feeling to see. While I'm watching the judging, like, man, I'd love Samson to win, but he doesn't have striated glutes. They're not going to let him win. That's what I'm thinking in my head. And then when he won, I just had this huge wave of relief, because as much as Giles and I both go on and on about dry this and striated glutes, I still want to see the greatest overall physique package. And
so here,
I like Samson's physique better than I like Derek's or Hadi's.
For sure. Look at these pictures that you just posted here.
Yeah.
I mean, how much drier they're supposed to be here, right? And I know that Behrouz would still want to be drier,
Yeah. Wow.
So we should ease up a little bit and start awarding overall shape, balance.
Let me ask you this: the Behrouz situation. Now, who is his sponsor? What country does his sponsor? Are they based out of?
It's from Iran, and I know that Hani Rambo said that the reason why Hadi got this visa was Evogen, American company, sponsoring, and I'm not sure that this could work. His visa is in administrative processing that, according to them, when they send the email, could take days or weeks. And it was November something, I forgot now exactly the date, of 2021 that he applied. So It's 3 years in processing. When I talked to my good friend Hunter Campbell, chief business officer of UFC, he has some fighters that also the visa is in years, meaning it could be 4 years and it could be 5 years. Next year, he might be qualified for Olympia again, and we would probably have the same thing. Wait until the last day. He was waiting. He was waiting until Monday, you know, and
So
Monday,
he's been in
Monday,
prep. What was his last show? It was like 8 weeks ago, 6 weeks
yeah,
ago.
yeah, he's contest ready.
So
He's
he
contest ready.
stayed in prep another 8 weeks, and he did
Hell
that
yeah.
for the last 2 years, didn't he?
Yes, I mean, but this is how many Iranians are. They are so dedicated. They love the sport. There's no cheating in a diet. There's not missing of workouts. So it's quite easy. When you look at Hadi Chopin, he's in shape year round.
Mm.
Actually, I think that the version of Hadi Chopin from 8 weeks ago, there was some freaky full round take, exploding quads, full chest, and everything else from the gym. That was enough conditioning, right? So that was probably already better conditioning than, let's say, even Samson.
Wow.
That version.
No, I believe it. I mean,
But that's not good enough for Hadi. He would never step on the stage like this. But that full look was enough. If you compare condition to condition, right?
Yeah.
That was condition enough, but not for him. And then he digs deep, deep, deep. I think between you and me that because of course they knew that Samson's going to dominate in size. The only way that Hadi can beat him is in crazy conditioning. So maybe they kind of overdid it. They, when you're already ready, but I can do better. I can do some more. So dig deeper and deeper and deeper. So I think that his hamstring, quads, because there's no more fat to be lost. Okay. So you don't have a fat to lose. And then you don't eat enough carbs because carbs would last you to the first 15 minutes of the workout. So now you have no longer energy nutrients. So now the protein that you're eating that's supposed to maintain the muscle, if not build, because you can't build at this time, but at least maintain. But now you cannot even maintain because it can be used for energy for whatever you're doing. So you slowly start cutting out. And I guess the legs were the first place to go for Hadi. So hamstring was losing the size. That was not the same. Volume of the whole leg was not the same. So quads were not popping as usually. And then his chest a little flattened out. He still has a super striated look. But at Arnold Classic, it worked against Samson. But I think the judges are seeing already Samson improved to Arnold UK that already pushed Hadi. Yeah. And then he was good in France. Of course, he didn't have a competition. If he had some competition, I think Samson would still win. That physique, I think, is unbeatable, even if somebody beats him in condition. But Hadi, I know he's very disappointed, but he should not be. Every time he steps on the stage, look at that. Look at that.
I mean, yeah, I don't think he looked as good. I wasn't at any of these shows this year, but I was so impressed with him at the Arnold. He wasn't quite as good as the Arnold, but he wasn't that far off. I mean, maybe it's like Dexter. If Dexter was 2% off his best, people said Dexter's off. His off is so much better than most people's best ever.
Yeah.
So I feel like that.
Including Hadi's. I mean, here it was just. I think it's a right call. Mr. Olympia should stand for best bodybuilder in the world. The second you glance at the body, he has to be Mr. Olympia, and that's what you get when you look at the Samson. I mean,
One final guy I want to talk about.
I'm not going to say I'm glad I'm not his coach anymore, so I can say this. But every time when I was saying this before, people were just like, "Oh, stop already!"
Yeah,
you know.
Well, it's people.
That's what I meant from 3 years ago and 2 years ago and a year ago, and I mean now, and I mean to the rest of his career. That's a body that would be pretty much impossible to beat. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you were his coach, people were like, "Oh, Milos is so biased towards Samson." And once he was not your client or anymore, once you weren't his coach, people said, "Oh, Milos hates him now, and he's going
to be salty and wishing him to break the leg."
Yeah, exactly.
For the love of God, people.
Unbelievable. I did want to just mention real briefly Hunter, because I think he ended up in 6th place, right, Hunter?
Yeah, he did impress me when he came on. I actually thought it was going to be a tight fight between him, Andrew, and Martin for 4th place.
Yeah.
That's how good he looked. and judges gave them that three-way look. I think that one time Hunter was in the middle, and then Andrew, and then Martin. So he looked like he was, and I think in his scorecard, don't quote me on that one, but I think he was ahead of Andrew. And then at the finals, actually, Andrew overtook him. He didn't look as good on Saturday. He didn't control. I always said there's one thing about Labrada's physique: controlling the abs. And he did a quite good job on the Friday. And then everything else was popping. So crazy back double biceps, crazy side triceps, great front double biceps. Great, because when you don't see anything and he stretches the abs, was very good. Going to the side chest, lat spread was good because there's no issue with the abs. Then going to side chest, he did perfectly, very impressive. Turn back double biceps, super good. Lat spread, very, very good. Then turn into side triceps, that's his trademark shot.
Yeah.
Okay. Into the abs, decent, and muscular, very good.
What about his condition overall? Because people still said he still has what looks like a little bit of film or something.
I mean, you have to call it. Look, when he beat Nick Walker in that first Olympia, Nick was in way better condition, right? But they gave it to Hunter.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of
salty people
about it.
A lot of people were mad about that.
But okay, if I say that Hunter Labrada never nailed it at the show, I would be quite accurate. Because if you see some of those videos throughout the years now, 2 years ago and a year ago, those so many weeks out of the show, pictures, before, it's like bone dry, super striated and all this stuff. M140, whatever it's called, MI40.
Oh, yeah.
When he was in Florida, that posing session, I still have it in front of my eye. Like, if he repeats this on the stage, holy shit, he would be top 3.
Yeah, I mean, don't write him off. Anybody who's writing him off, he's only 30, I think 32 years old. He's still improving. It's, the pec tear, he's always had the pec tear, so that's not even that's a non-issue. Yeah.
I like he created the delt striations and tines. It's very good. He has a cross-threaded, crazy triceps, probably the best triceps in business now because Rolly Winkler is no longer here.
That's right.
Great legs, crazy calves, everything. So Hunter, listen, to place top 6 at Olympia, it's huge. People say, "Oh, 6th place, how can that?" I was top 10, and I'm proud of my achievement. Okay, you seen that front lat spread of Andrew? Yeah. Is this going to be going on? Yeah. So here, we don't see Andrew. Andrew doesn't look super impressive in the side poses.
No. He's those are the only 2 shots I don't like his compared to the other guys. The side chest is one of his weaker shots. Side tricep. I think the front poses he's just dominating. Yeah. Even the back poses, even though he needs more hamstrings, but look how he's just so big and wide, and the taper. I honestly feel if he'd come in maybe 5, 6, 7 pounds lighter, he might have. I don't know if he was going to beat Martin, but he was probably at least beating Martin, maybe even Derek if he had done that.
I think he can definitely. I love Martin, and now they're going to say I think he could have beat the Martin on just beauty of the shape and the X frame and detail that he had, the superb abs, and then chest. Like look at what he looks like from the front.
Yeah, his abdominal thigh shot. Nobody beats that really.
Aside from Hadi Chopin, yeah.
Yeah, Hadi. I was going to say Hadi because the detail that Hadi has is
as good legs as Martin has. Still, the ab shot goes to
Hadi. Yeah, I'll give him that.
Yeah, but it goes to Andrew. Now, most muscular shot, as beautiful as Andrew is, I mean, Martin is super impressive in most muscular shots.
Yeah, I don't like Andrew's most muscular shot, to be honest with you. There's no variation of it that looks great.
Yeah, something to work on. I still think that he could do. He has a long forearms. He has a great upper arm, and the choices of poses he does, like hands on hips, or that forearm goes too long, then it kind of looks stringy. In most muscular, you want to be compact.
Yeah.
That's just going yeah.
I do want to just mention briefly before we go, classic physique, because Bumstead was unbeatable. He was like the Ronnie Coleman during Ronnie's reign, and Dorian, just somebody that once you knew he was showing up, you knew he was probably going to win. He's gone. He's walked away. This is the top 2 and 3 in the world right now. We got 2 Germans, Mike Sommerfeld and Urs Kaliczynski. We're both big fans of all these guys. Who do you think has the best chance of winning this next year, or is it someone else?
Well, yeah. I mean, don't discount Ramon yet. Ramon was second and was one of the favorites. He just didn't deliver exactly condition on the prejudging. That was the best Urs we've ever seen, I think. And as soon as I see them looking at that at the prejudging, I thought that Urs would be taking second. Mm-hmm. But look at the structure and the physique of #bodybuilding Mike Sommerfeld, right?
Yeah.
Woo! Like this, it's a thing of beauty. Yeah, now look at the striated glutes. Again, Sommerfeld is not bone dry, super conditioned, but it was just enough. This is it. If you look at the sharpness of the legs, still Bumstead is a little bit more conditioned, even though if you look at this video, maybe you're going to say, Milos, what drugs are you taking right now? Yeah, in person, Chris was a little flattish. There was not same pop to his chest and shoulders like normally. Yeah. This is his pose.
Love that pose. Love his front lat spread.
Yeah.
It's a great shot for him.
Yeah. And side chest is stellar, to the point I thought that he would be super competitive even in open division in this shot.
Yeah.
Because there's so much detail.
True. Yeah, I mean, personally, do you think he's ever going to come back?
No reason. Yeah. I mean, how can you be even motivated? I mean, you dominated the class 6 times, even though he didn't get the perfect score in the finals. He had some judges not voting for him, which is already a big surprise and should be huge motivation for Mark Sommerfeld, because now he is really next to take the title, right?
Yeah.
Testing back, this is crazy. It was very sad for me to see Bum go. Wonderful speech. I don't know if you heard it.
Yeah, I did.
Here's a Spanish kid, Jose Manuel. I forgot the last name.
Munoz.
Yeah. I love the guy.
He's 22 years old.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Look at the conditioning. I mean, again, you can't see it on the video.
Right. Well, let me see. I don't think he had much on his Instagram, but Ramon's the guy that was, I don't want to say disappointment, but somebody's second place for a couple years in a row, he's an Arnold Classic champ. Everyone thought he was going to be the one. It was either Wesley or him that most people expected to be second place. Wesley was way down in 8th. Ramon drops down to 4.
Yeah.
And Breon,
look at Breon here.
This is the lowest Breon has ever placed, and he's done every single Classic Olympia that we've had so far since 2016.
Breon looked improved to me. He looked fantastic, and he beat Urs this year. Could he beat this Urs? There's an argument, there's an argument because there's so much condition right here, and then so much more back, so much more arms. And classic physique is front and back double biceps, right? So 2 poses out of 4, actually 5, because the choice of classic physique, right? It's another pose, but it's only front and back double biceps. There's a side chest and ab shot. So when somebody has a crazy back and crazy arms like Breon has, it's kind of like, okay, how does he lose these poses? To Urs. And then there was a good side chest shot for Breon. Yeah. Now, if you're going to have a whole pose, look at that.
I love Urs, but how does Urs beat that? I'm just not, maybe just pure condition, because what Breon, his arms are twice the size of Urs.
Yeah.
He's still got his legs at 43 years old, whatever he is, 44.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's
Side
getting up
chest
there.
is formidable, yeah. And now back double biceps, Chris Cormier argues that this is best back double biceps, untouchable.
Yeah,
It's hard to
pretty
argue.
good. Yeah, he's a two-time champion. He's still holding his own. And
Look at that. Look at that now.
wow.
Boom.
Yeah, I mean, Breon's still got it. He's not. Father Time has not got him yet. He's still
This
got some
pose is
fire left.
crazy. So of course, he smoked Earth in that pose.
Yeah, the back pose.
Yeah.
No, yeah, welcome up. But let's go back to Ramon just for a second.
Ramon.
Because what does Ramon need to do, this guy? Because obviously his fans are very upset. They want to see this guy win the Olympia. And now that he's starting to slide down, to me, I know this is a weird angle, but it looks like he came in smaller this year than I've ever seen him in the upper body.
Possibly. I mean, Chris told me that for Honor Classic, he only trains for 6 weeks. And I don't know what is the reason that somebody would train.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Yeah. And then now he had a full prep, like 20 weeks.
Yeah.
Ramon can get in crazy, ripped out of his mind condition. I've seen some pictures. Skin was not existent. Dryness was Sahara dryness. And he just didn't ever really put that on stage because a little bit offish. This time, color was going all over the place. He was sweating, and that affected him. And Chris doesn't have a really explanation. I asked him. He told me right before the prejudging, he looks spectacular. They came back to the room, and I guess Tamer Gindi came, and he stripped down, and he was peeled, But on the stage, when you lose that, just for a few moments, a few minutes that you're being compared, judges have to judge what they see. He was leaking all over the place. So when you have the thick oil and a sweat, you also have that appearance of a smoothness, softness.
Yeah. He was sweating. We have a phrase. He was sweating like a whore in church. I've never seen him sweat like that before. Is that?
I never heard that one.
I don't know if he's just doesn't practice his posing enough, because he was just, it looked like he was working really hard just to maintain his composure and everything up there. I hope this isn't the end of him. He's a good kid.
I love Ramon. Everybody loves Ramon.
Yeah.
And can Ramon win next year's Olympia? Hell yes.
Why not?
No, hell yes. He can. They just need to deliver. He should dedicate the whole year. I don't like these times off. Like, why do you need a time off? I don't know if you've seen here when he popped the quads, they looked phenomenal. Sartorius, lateralis, medialis, everything was there. I was warning Chris before that he doesn't contract the quads throughout the prejudging. He loses like within seconds. And that was happening again. And when you lose half of the body, that can be super impressive. And then you're not as wide structurally. See, classic physique is supposed to be V-tapered, crazy width. And Ramon is not really crazy wide, right?
No, he's not.
He doesn't have a commodity, to lose the legs. Say here, look at your left leg. It's gone.
Yeah. Strange. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't write him off for 1 minute. Maybe he needs to do this or that, or who knows? We don't know what he needs to do, but he's still one of the greatest in the world. 4th place in the world is nothing to be ashamed of.
Out of 56.
Yeah, I mean, that's the toughest division, because every year you get at least one, if not 2 or 3 new superstars. At least open, it takes a while to accumulate new talent. Classic, they're just coming on like gangbusters. Always new guys.
Yes. Phenomenal. I mean, Ramon, keep your head up. You see, when you play second and you look like you're going down, it's very depressing. But hey, top 5 at Olympia is always accomplishment. And just best advisors, you were saying that that was a disappointment. Look, when you look at those comparison pictures, it's on Instagram right now. 2023 Olympia, Arnold Classic, and now, and you don't see much of a difference. I don't know if it's on Wesley's Instagram. There was somewhere today I saw it, and it looks like Wesley was not so off, but it was just enough off in sense of conditioning was not as catchy as it was at Arnold Classic, and then legs were just slightly down.
Yeah.
And if you have a small waist, you can maybe get away with it. When you have a wider waist, you can't get away with the smaller legs.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think the judges already saw it. He has a crazy conditioning for weeks. Actually, I think you can pick him any day of the week and put him on the stage, and he could possibly even look better than he was on the stage. You know some of those poses when he did the here or a most muscular shot that you see feathers on the front delt deeper than that famous Arnold's pose picture.
I mean, Wesley's phenomenal. It's I just think he was in prep for too long this year, and some people can do that and they look great, and some people their body just they can't hold on to their fullness. It just no matter what they do, I don't think there were enough carbs in the world that could have really helped him. It looks great there though. Jeez.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal. So keep your head up.
When you have just higher expectations and then you don't get it exactly, it's very disappointing. But his body is going nowhere. He is here to stay. He is very competitive. He won Arnold and a UK Arnold.
Yeah.
You know, he might go to repeat that and then set himself as a major favorite for the Olympia. He's still contender for sure.
Yeah. Okay, I lied. I got one last guy I want to talk about because I was so impressed with Keone.
Yes.
This background, the dark background did not help the black athletes this year. Let me tell you. Did not help them at all. Because he looked so much better than this in other footage that I've seen. But it was a very decisive victory. I love Sean, but I didn't have Sean close to him at all this year. And I think Keone could be the next Flex Lewis in terms of holding on to this as long as he wants to.
Look at that. Look at art.
Let's go there.
Oh my
this
God.
is better light. The lighting here is better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll say this, he's 205 pounds now. If he outgrows the division in maybe 2, 3 years, 4 years, whatever, if he can be 220 on stage, 225, somewhere in that range, I think he could be Mr. Olympia.
Yeah. You see, Labrada was 185 maybe, right?
On a good day.
On a good day. And this puts in perspective, he was second to Lee Haney a couple of times, right? So does Keone really need to be much bigger, you know?
No.
Just think about this. You're looking at this physique, this is close to perfect. Yeah, it's close to perfect, like Labrada, right?
Yeah.
Master class. But I think this is already enough muscle. So now if he tries to change the body and pack on the muscle and then maybe changes his structure and widen his waist and, spoil the harmony that he has right now and beauty of the physique. I don't know. I think he would be super competitive. He could have possibly contend for top 6 with this condition.
I mean, I think even being 205 pounds, and he would have been giving up a lot of size, but I think he could have been 6th or 7th in the Open Olympia this year. I don't think that's crazy.
They're going to say I'm out of my mind and I'm not his coach, so I'm not biased coach.
Yeah.
Look at that physique. It's perfect. Every mandatory is beautiful. Structure is that back shot that when you can see striated lats and Christmas tree and the striated glutes and then crazy hamstring.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but this is it's a little bigger than classic would allow for, but good Lord, that's a classic bodybuilding physique, whatever division you want to call it. This is pure beauty. I mean,
it's best.
Who wouldn't want to look like that? That's amazing. Yeah. Okay. Keone Pearson. Yeah. Just good luck to him. He's 29 years old. He's already got 2 Olympia titles. So bright future for Keone.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were talking for years. If he nails it, nobody touches him. And now he's finally, nailing it.
Yeah, he's going to have it for a while. I predict he'll hold on to that until he decides he wants to move on to Open, and the money is getting so good in Open, $600,000 for first place. I think it's going to be. Here's another prediction. What do you think? I bet we're going to see $1 million first prize for the Olympia within 2 years. We're maybe 2 years away from that right now.
I think so too.
Yeah,
but just calculate all the money now that guys can make, starting from Arnold and then Pittsburgh and then Dubai
Yeah.
And there's going to be more shows, of course, that are going to raise the prize money, and then the Olympia. I mean, what is that like? If you win all the shows, you can win $2 million in prize money in a single year.
About time, you know. I mean, I
Yeah,
think that when you were competing, what was Lee Haney winning on? No, you were
I think
there with $50,000. I think what he's winning.
I
Yeah,
would hope. I
you
would
did.
hope at least 100, but
Yeah, I mean, you came along at the very end of Lee's career.
yeah.
91
I
was
actually stepped on the stage, 91, his last contest. I'll never forget. I watched your interview with Lee. He is my favorite guy in the whole sport.
He's awesome.
The classiest guy, and I mean, so much wisdom anyway. But he came in at his all-time best in his last show. So if you think about retiring at 31, we consider a young man now, right? And he was improving by the age of 31, and he already had 8 titles.
Yeah.
He could have another 5 titles easily before he retired, even with Dorian being Dorian, because Dorian would not overtake Lee Haney on the back shots. And this is where he was dominating other guys.
Right.
On the back shots, I'm telling you, it's still the thickness and that back double biceps pose. Yeah, Dorian was maybe a little bit drier, but he would not dominate. And Lee Haney would dominate his side chest pose and the front double biceps. You know, I think that Lee would still, beat 93 Dorian, even though.
Wow, the 93 Dorian. Wow.
even though Steve Weinberger doesn't agree with it. I do think if Lee prepared, he improved 91, he improved a little bit more in 92 because he has now a dangerous guy coming, right?
Yeah.
Lee didn't need to improve that much to beat Rich Gaspari and Lee Labrada and Sean Ray back in the day, right? Because he was already dominant over them. But now when you have some mass monster coming, okay, so you want mass? You know that commercial that Lee Haney had back in the day, that mass.
The Twin Lab, Twin Lab mass deal.
So you want mass? I'll give you mass. He could still grow in that time.
Cool stuff. All right, well, guys, let's create a banner here so we could say, follow Milos on Instagram at Milos Sarcev. He's also got a YouTube channel with the name Milos Sarcev. So check that out. Great content there. And I'm so happy that you made yourself available on literally a moment's notice for me. The Monday after the Olympia. Yeah. So I'm gonna get this video up soon because people wanted to hear. I'm sure you're gonna do like 30 podcasts this week, but
I did Jay's last night, and I did the AMA this morning right before you, and I'm doing an old school podcast tomorrow. Right. But I'm gonna keep it at that. Okay. It just we didn't talk for a while, and I know that you were not at the Olympia, so I kind of wanted to give you also my views.
I always want to hear your perspective, even if I'm there. I still want to hear what because you see things with a different eye. Yeah. I have a good eye, but you have an incredible eye for physiques. You can break them down and analyze every little facet and aspect.
I do, but there was always that shadow of the bias, and I cannot say, listen, I cannot say that maybe I'm not biased. Yeah. We all want.
Everybody's biased.
All what I see.
Yeah.
And all the excitement that I have about Samson right now, right? I'm supposed to be salty. I'm supposed to find some faults in him and, pick him apart. No.
Yeah.
Everything you heard before, I just said, this is the best version of what we were building. And the best version is unbeatable. Shed,
Cool. Well,
holy hell.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Milos. I appreciate you taking the time. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching Raw Online Report with one of my favorite guys in the industry, and he is my favorite analyst of pro bodybuilding physiques, bar none. I could listen to you talk about physiques all damn day. So appreciate you very much, sir. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching the Raw Online Report. I'll see you right here next time. Peace.